Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Dakota, the place where we uncover the juicy secrets hidden in plain sight within corporate filings. Today we are diving deep into CleanSpark's latest proxy statement, a document that can sometimes sound like a bedtime story, but is actually packed with critical information about where this company is headed and how your money is being handled. Get ready because we are about to decode the numbers that matter and see if this company is truly powering towards success or just generating hot air. Before we jump in, if you love getting direct insights from these filings without all the corporate jargon, make sure you are subscribed and have notifications on. Also, join our Discord community linked in the description below for more exclusive content and discussions. Alright, let us talk about CleanSpark Incorporated. This company is in the business of digital infrastructure, primarily focused on data centers for Bitcoin mining and other big computing tasks. Think of them as the builders and operators of the digital backbone that powers a lot of the tech we use today. They are trying to be smart about where they get their power and how they run their operations to make sure they create value in the long run. This particular filing is a proxy statement for their annual meeting. It is essentially a guide for shareholders on what they are voting on and why the board of directors recommends certain actions. It also gives a deep dive into how the company is performing and how its executives are compensated. So the first big item on the agenda is the election of 5 directors. These are the folks in charge of overseeing the company. CleanSpark is recommending the election of S. Matthew Schultz, Larry McNeil, Dr. Thomas L. Wood, Roger P. Bainon, and Amanda Cavallari. The report highlights that all these directors are independent except for Mr. Schultz, which is pretty standard. It also details their experience and the various skills they bring to the table, like energy infrastructure, data centers, and financial expertise. They have a whole matrix showing who brings what to the table, which implies they are trying to build a well-rounded board. Now, they do not have a hard and fast rule for diversity, but they consider it broadly meaning different opinions, experiences, and backgrounds. They want a board that can debate and consider things from many angles. They are looking for experience in technology, business, finance, energy, Bitcoin, digital assets, and much more. When you look at the board skills matrix, you can see they have a good mix covering a lot of important areas for a company like this. They are highlighting energy and infrastructure, data centers, digital assets, and financial skills, which are all crucial for their business. Now, let us get to a part that always grabs attention: executive compensation. In fiscal year 2025, the company paid out some significant amounts. S. Matthew Schultz, as CEO and chairman, received a total compensation of over $44.9 million. This includes his salary, bonus, stock awards, and other compensation. Zachary K. Bradford, the former CEO, who departed in August 2025, had a total compensation of almost $48.8 million for that year, which includes a substantial payout related to his departure. Looking at the summary compensation table, we see the breakdown. For S. Matthew Schultz in fiscal year 2025, his salary was about $862,917. His bonus was a whopping $5.5 million and his stock awards were over $37 million. For Zachary Bradford, his compensation included a salary of $1.76 million, a bonus of $4.9 million, and stock awards of $17.4 million. The significant payouts also include things like Bitcoin and taxes paid on behalf of executives, which is an interesting perk if you are in the Bitcoin business. The grants of plan-based awards table shows how these compensation packages are structured. A large portion is in the form of restricted stock units, ARSs, and performance-based ARSs. For example, S. Matthew Schultz received over $2.3 million worth of time, based ARSs, and over $1.7 million performance. Based ARSs on the 4th of September 2025. These awards typically vest over several years, depending on continued service and company performance. This is a common way for companies to try and keep executives around for the long term and align their interests with shareholders. The Outstanding Equity Awards table gives us a snapshot of all the stock options and units that executives still hold as of the 30th of September 2025. For S. Matthew Schultz, he had a substantial number of ARSs and SUS that had not yet vested, totaling over 2.6 million shares with a market value of over $38 million. This clearly shows that a significant part of their compensation is tied to the company's future stock performance. Now let us talk about compensation versus performance. While the report outlines many performance metrics, they provide a table showing the relationship between compensation actually paid and measures like adjusted EBITDA. In fiscal year 2025, while the payout compensation for S. Matthew Schultz was over $66 million, adjusted EBITDA was a very healthy $822 million. For the previous CEO, Zachary Bradford, his compensation was around $31 million and adjusted EBITDA was also strong at $245 million in fiscal year 2024. Just before his departure, this shows a strong correlation between high executive pay and strong operational performance as measured by adjusted EBITDA in these periods. Moving on to Proposal 2, the company is seeking ratification for the selection of BDO USA PC as their independent registered public accounting firm for the fiscal year ending the 30th of September 2026. They previously dismissed Malone Bailey LLP in July 2024 and brought on BDO. The fees paid to BDO in fiscal year 2025 for audit and audit-related services totaled over $2.4 million. For Malone Bailey, though they were dismissed in 2024, they still incurred fees of over $372,000 in 2025, possibly for final services or outstanding matters. The fees paid to the accounting firm are significant, but for a company of CleanSpark's size and complexity, especially in the mining and data center space, it is not entirely surprising. The audit committee pre-approves these services, so there is a layer of oversight. Let us look at who actually owns the company. As of the 9th of January 2026, BlackRock Incorporated owned over 43 million shares, representing 17.06% of the total. The Vanguard Group held over 25 million shares, or 10.05%. For the insiders, S. Matthew Schultz owns about 3.48 million shares, which is 1.36%. Zachary K. Bradford, as a former CEO, still holds over 4.7 million shares, which is 1.85%. It is good to see that key executives and large institutional investors hold significant stakes aligning their interests with the company's success. Then there is the series of preferred stock. S. Matthew Schultz and Larry McNeil each own 500,000 shares of this preferred stock directly and jointly own shares through Celtic LLC. This means they received substantial dividend payments in 2025, with Mr. Schultz and Mr. McNeil each getting over $3 million in dividends. This preferred stock structure seems to be a significant income stream for some of the key players. The filing also touches on related party transactions. There is a mention of an indemnity provided to the company's transfer agent regarding lost share certificates for the S.M. Schultz Irrevocable Trust. This trust is connected to S. Matthew Schultz, so it highlights that even routine matters can involve related parties and require careful disclosure. The questions and answers section is always a good place to find what shareholders might be concerned about. They explain how to attend the virtual meeting, which is important given the format. They also clarify voting rights for common stock and preferred stock, mentioning that preferred stockholders get 45 votes per S share. This is a critical detail indicating that preferred stockholders have a very significant voting power. They are expecting a quorum to be present with at least 1/3 of the voting power. Given the voting power of the preferred stockholders, it is clear they are a major factor in any shareholder decisions. Finally, in Appendix A, we find the reconciliation of non-GAAP adjusted EBITDA. This is a crucial part because it shows how the company derives its key performance indicator. They adjust net income by adding back depreciation, amortization, share-based compensation, and other items. For fiscal year 2025, net income was about $364 million, but adjusted EBITDA was a much higher $823 million. This significant difference highlights how much stock-based compensation and depreciation impact their reported earnings. For fiscal year 2024, net loss was $145 million, but adjusted EBITDA was a positive $245 million. This shows how the adjustments can paint a much rosier picture of the company's operational performance than GAAP numbers alone. So, what is my take on this filing? CleanSpark appears to be a company with strong operational performance as demonstrated by their robust adjusted EBITDA figures, especially when compared to their net income or loss. Their executive compensation is heavily weighted towards stock awards and bonuses, which directly links pay to performance and company growth. The significant holdings by insiders and institutional investors are a positive sign for alignment. However, the preferred stock structure and the related dividend payout suggest a unique capital arrangement that benefits certain stakeholders significantly. The divergence between GAAP and non-GAAP figures is substantial, and while adjusted EBITDA is a common metric for this industry, it is always important to remember it is not a direct measure of cash flow or profitability under standard accounting rules. The company is strategically expanding into AI and HPC, which presents a significant opportunity, but also new risks and complexities to manage. Overall, CleanSpark seems to be navigating a complex and competitive landscape with significant growth and strong operational execution. The executive compensation is substantial, but appears to be largely performance driven with a strong equity component. The key risk to watch is how they manage their capital structure and potential volatility in the Bitcoin market, while successfully executing their diversification into AI and HPC. Alright, that is our deep dive into CleanSpark's latest proxy statement. What are your thoughts on their executive compensation strategy and their future growth plans? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this analysis valuable, hit that like button. It really helps us out, and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. And as always, check out the Discord for more in-depth discussions and community interaction. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next episode of Corporate Decoder.